In this tutorial video we're going to demonstrate how you can get creative with Touch7 Photo Neon. So this is our plugin for Adobe Photoshop that generates the neon separations based on the pixels that are inside your image. So this image on the screen of the motorbike is perfect for Touch7. It's got clearly defined pink areas which we can extract out using the plugin and generate our spot color. Now all we're going to do is press the button, but before we do that, let's just explain what you would have to do without Touch7. So normally you'd have to go in and someone has to do a mask using the clipping path tool, so the pen tool, and cut around all these little areas and mask everything out, which can take a long time depending on the complexity of your image. And that's great and easy enough if you've got clearly defined areas you can cut out. But what happens when you have shading, where you have different areas blending, say pink pixels might go into purple? How do you create a mask around a transition of two different colors? And that's the beautiful thing about Touch7, is that it automatically extracts out the information based on the hue value of the pixels, and it does it fully automated. So let's do that now. I'm going to press the button, it's gone through, and within seconds it's generated that separation for us. So we're now going to turn off the RGB and let's just look at that separation it's created. Now it's not a solid black separation, it's a tint, and this is because it can only pull out the information that's inside the image. So let's just look again at this RGB separation. Pink as a colour is a percentage of magenta. So if it's a percentage of magenta, it can only pull out that percentage of magenta for a separation. So let's just take a look at that separation again that's created. So once you've done that point there, we do recommend that you then use your levels to boost up the separation. So we do that by going Image, Adjustments, Levels. And what we're looking for is this histogram area here, the shadow point. It's basically setting your shadow and highlight point on the design. Now the highlight point is already set, so we're just going to move this slider over, and that way it sets the shadow point. And click on OK. So now we have our separation as we wanted. Let's turn this on with the RGB. Now another thing to point out here is that RGB images are an additive colour space. A spot colour is a subtractive colour space. Basically you've got an ink and a monitor type preview. And Photoshop cannot show you two opposing colour spaces at the same time on the screen. So what you're seeing here is actually false. So to see it correctly, we do recommend that you change your image into LAB. LAB is all encompassing, so when we change it from RGB to LAB, you're not going to lose any degradation in your RGB channel. But what it does allow us to do is see the design correctly. So now if we turn off the Touch7 pink, you'll see the original image and then with the pink added. So very quickly, very easily, we've created a beautiful image with this really hot pink separation. And that's great. We can save that file and send it off to print and it will look amazing. However, we want to do something a little bit more creative. So I'm now going to create another separation for the yellow. Now you might be thinking, well, there's no yellow in this image, but I really only need the name of that separation, and I'm kind of cheating here. So instead of making a new spot color, typing in a name and finding out what the LAB value is for the yellow, I'm just going to click this button, and it's going to pull out a couple of areas, like in this where you blow up the tires here. There's a little bit under this seat stem, and it might pull in a little bit of a casting from the seat. That's fine. We don't actually need any of the data on the yellow separation. We just want the name. So it's generated that separation. Let's just see. Yep, I was right. It's pulled out a couple of areas and a little bit in the shading, but that's fine. I don't want it. I don't want anything on that channel. What I'm after is this pink channel again. So I'm going to go to Select All. So that's selecting all of the document, and I'm going to go to Edit, Copy. So I've copied the pink separation, and I'm going to go onto the yellow, and I'm going to paste it into the yellow. So if I now switch both of those on, you'll see that we've now got an orange kind of colour. So if you were to print neon pink and neon yellow together, you get more like an orangey red colour. So you've taken it away from being pink to more like a red hue. So that's the first creative thing that you can do. But let's take it to the next level. Let's do something a little bit more creative. So first of all, I'm going to, actually let me duplicate this, because I'm going to show you a couple of different techniques. So the first one that we're going to work with I'm going to take that yellow separation and I'm going to go select all, and I'm going to copy the yellow separation, and then I'm going to make a new document. Don't change any of the settings, just click on OK, and then go to edit, paste. So we've got that separation in there that we want to work with. Now what I'm going to do here, we need to be working on our layers, which we are. I'm going to go to the layer menu, layer mask, reveal all. So we're going to do a layer mask basically, making sure your shadow, your solid and white point are set to black and white as it is. Pick up the gradient tool, and I'm just going to drag from the front end here to the back. And what that does is it removes some of that coloured information. So basically it's like gradating it off to white. So we can be a little bit more creative. I'm going to do it to about, let me see, yeah, about there, something like that's fine. So now I'm going to flatten that image. I'm going to go to select all, I'm going to copy that. We don't need that anymore, so I can actually get rid of it. But now on this image here, where we've got the yellow selected, we're going to paste. So now we've got that blended yellow, means that you've got yellow and pink at the back end, but just pink on the front. So now we've got a gradation of the two hot fluorescent colours blending into each other. And let's just turn off the LAB so we can see what's happening. Pink at the front end, pink at the back end, but then we've got that yellow overprinting. So we're blending two colours together. And if we were to switch off, obviously, the neon pink, you will see that we have this kind of like pasty orange to process pink at the front. But this is the one that I'm after. So I could save that file and everything's great. Now, let's just take that another step further, and you can be quite creative with this. Let's just turn off the other colours and just work with the pink. And I'm going to do this very crudely just so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to create some solid circular dots. So I'm just going to airbrush out. I'll do this quite crudely, kind of like a polka dot type pattern. So when we blend the two together, we're knocking it out so you get these yellow spots coming through. So we could theoretically go through and make a polka dot styled design as well. So all you'd have to do is be a bit more creative than I am, obviously take a little bit more time, maybe have some of the dots a little bit smaller, and obviously only control it where you want it. For example, you might not want it around the guard around the chains, but you might just want it on these main paintworks. And then you could have a psychedelic looking design done with both the pink and the yellow. And if you want to have just yellow coming through here, then you would need to basically do another mask and delete it out of the image here. So let's see, you have to delete it out of the design like that. So I'm just literally removing it from my design completely. Just deleting things. So now you can create all these different crazy effects. So go to town with it. Don't just run the plugin as it is. Think about your levels. Think about getting some contrast into your design and start blending different colours together. So if you have both a neon pink and the neon yellow, start getting creative. So any questions or concerns, just fire away at support@touch7.co.